Hi, I'm Lydia Gattozzi, a student at USCB, and welcome to the Living Laboratory Nature Trail. Before this was a place to walk, learn, and connect with nature, this land played a very different role in the Low Country's history. Beneath your feet once ran a narrow-gauge railroad spur used more than a century ago to haul timber out of this forest. The tracks helped fuel the region's timber industry, shaping the landscape and the communities that grew around it. Keep watching to learn more about the trail's history from expert Dr. Larry Rowland, Distinguished Professor Emeritus of History at USCB. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Larry Rowland. In my book, The History of Beaufort County, Volume 3, I have written about the Argent Railroad that passed through these woods, hauling timber. It was a very important part of the economics of early 20th century Beaufort County, and it is now part of the campus of the University of South Carolina, Beaufort. The lumber industry at the turn of the 20th century was critical to this area. It was probably the largest single employer in the area. Cotton had declined, almost disappeared. Vegetables were not yet a major industry. And cutting trees, of which we had hundreds of thousands of acres of pine trees, became probably the major industry of this area. The Argent Lumber Company, founded in 1916, was an amalgamation of several smaller lumber companies that surrounded. What they did in the forest is they would build little railroads to get the wood out. You have to understand, this is a period when there weren't 18-wheel trucks, when there weren't four-wheel drive vehicles for the swamp. So they built little railroads, and they had little locomotives, and they loaded up lumber to get them out of a large pine forest, denuded the forest, and then abandoned the railroad and built another one. So a spur railroad is one that went to a dead end. Those are the old style locomotives that you see in Western movies, where the smoke comes out of the boiler, goes into a big pot. It's a stack with a pot on top. Those were old locomotives built in the 1870s and 80s. Argent Lumber Company was bought out, I wish I knew the exact year, the 1920s, maybe the early 30s, by the Camp Lumber Company. They bought out, among other things, 35,000 acres around Hardyville, within which the current university campus sits, roughly the middle of it. The Camp Lumber Company merged in the early 1950s with Union Bag Company of New York. And Union Camp, when it was formed, was one of the major corporations in the United States. It was very, very big. They bought all this 35,000 acres around Hardyville and the railroad. I don't know when that narrow gauge railroads stopped operating, but if you look at the technology, sometime during World War II, they would have had trucks big enough and powerful enough to do the work that the railroads used to do. So somewhere around World War II, that little railroads and those spurs became superfluous.
Thank you, Dr. Rowland, for sharing the history of USCB's Living Laboratory Nature Trail with us.
It's my pleasure. I hope this beautiful place is enjoyed by generations to come.